Doesn't seem to be a bad place. Okay, well, we just finished eating, and there's Renita. And some pictures of some of the yachets in this area. And that's about it. There's Renita again.
Cabin. In the unlikely event of an emergency, the crew will pass those out in a common orderly manner. Well, as we left Harbor Town, we crossed Calabogie Sound. We've now entered the Cooper River, which is part of the ICW system. We're going to continue on until we get to the Savannah River, where we'll turn inbound into Savannah. We'll be cruising at about 20 knots or so. But along the way, we will have to slow down for other boats. Boat docks, barges, dredges, just lots of different things. There aren't any dolphin around while we're going slow that I notice. I'll be sure to let you know about those guys. They're always out here, but not always when we're going slow. So just gonna have to keep an eye out for them. Well, on our left is an island called the Fusky Island. No roads or bridges over to the Fusky Island. Everything has to come and go by boat or barge. Two gated communities, the Fusky Island Club and Resort, which is a resort community. We'll look at their main dock up here in about 10 minutes. What we're looking at right here, though, is 1,050 acres known as Haig Point. H-A-I-G, named after the original cotton plantation known as it. The development was started about 18 years ago by International Paper Company. It is very, very high-end and very, very private real estate venture that's almost completely sold out now. Just about all that remains is individual resale properties. Well, when you boarded this morning, Eric handed you a brochure about town trolley. Inside there is a very nice map of Savannah and a lot of other useful information. Get a chance to look at that, it'll be great. We're going to talk about that in about 10 minutes.
This is Fort Jackson.
The fort itself is built on a strategic location. All ships coming into Savannah had to pass within reach of her big cannons. First ironclad ship, USS Georgetown, was currently right here at the fort the night of Savannah's evacuation to prevent her from falling into Union hands. She's still in the water here somewhere. This is the oldest standing fort in Georgia, and the site used since 1740. Possesses rich history relating to the defenses of Savannah all the way to the end of the 19th century. Fort was enlarged and strengthened between 1845 and 1861 and was part of 9 fortifications along the river that protected Savannah with total firepower of 100 heavy cannons and several vessels. Go Fort Jackson.
There's Renita again, because I never get in the shot. I'm always taking the damn picture. And we're now in Savannah, and I guess that's our trolley right there that we're going to take. There's a shrimp factory. That's where they make shrimp.
So it's actually not a trolley.
I thought shrimp were grown in the ocean. I guess they make them there at the factory, right?
At high tide, and it was struck on 3 separate occasions by passing merchant ships. Well, after being struck the 3rd time, the state finally appropriated the money to build that new bridge. The new bridge has a clearance of 185 feet. It was a lantern. She waved at every ship that came into port between 1887 and 1931. Now, legend has it that she was waving because she was expecting the return of a young man who promised to return to marry her. But after 44 years of waving, I think she realized that he was not coming back. But she went on to retire, along with her brother, who was a lighthouse keeper just down the river at Elba Island. Shortly after that, poor Florence passed away. Many say she died from a broken heart. Many others say she died from very tired arms. The Olympic cause of the left was lit during the 1996 Summer Olympics. It was held in Atlanta for the most part, but the yachting was held right here in Savannah, Vietnam. Next, our Celtic Cross, dedicated to all the Irish settlers in Georgia. Now, speaking of the Irish, Savannah has the second largest St. Patrick's Day celebration in this country, second only to the one held in New York City. On that day, St. Patrick's Day, you'll find green everything around Savannah. Green clothes, green hats, green shoes, green hair on some people, green pastry, green beer, a lot of green beer. In fact, the day after St. Patrick's Day, green lace as well. Give you an idea what kind of impact St. Patrick's Day has in Savannah. Savannah has a population of around 200,000. Well, 2 years ago on St. Patrick's Day, there was an estimated 700,000 people in Savannah. To your left, you'll see a bell that's in a gazebo. This bell was sent to Savannah in 1802 from Amsterdam. It was rang at the end of the workday to indicate to all the shopkeepers that it was time to close those shops. But to your right is Factor's Walk. A factor today would be known as a broker. Factors in the 1800s would walk out on these iron walkways that you see to your right. They look down on wagons that would be passing below. Now, those wagons would be loaded with cotton. They would inspect the cargo and they would bid on it, and if they purchased the cargo, they had to store it in the lower part of those buildings. Those were cotton warehouses. The red brick building to your right was built in 1886, built as the Savannah Cotton Exchange. The price of cotton for the much of the world for a number of years was set from that red brick building. But today that building is a home for the Solomon Masonic Lodge, which dates back to the year 1734. These two cannons on your right were brought to Savannah by George Washington in 1791. He captured those two cannons from General Cornwallis in the battle known as Yorktown. Ahead of us on our left is the Moon River Brewing Company. This building dates back to 1820. It was built as the Savannah Hotel. That was the epitome of accommodation in Savannah from 1820 until just before the Civil War. On our left, all of our Savannah Morning News. Formerly Morning News and Evening Press, they've been consolidated. That's the third oldest newspaper in the South. This year they celebrate their 153rd anniversary of the founding of that newspaper. Franklin served as a shipping agent to the colonies in the 1760s. And directly in front of us, you see the First African Baptist Church. The congregation of this church dates back to 1788. It's the oldest continuous black church congregation in North America. The building was completed in 1859. It was built on land that was purchased by this congregation from the First Baptist Church congregation for $1,500 in the year 1832. Below the floorboards in the basement of this building are 4-foot-tall spaces that were used to conceal runaway slaves that were making their way north on what was known as the Underground Railroad. That was a system of hiding places that was set in place by Quakers and abolitionists to assist runaway slaves as they made their way sometimes as far north as Canada. Now ahead of us to our left, you'll notice the tan-colored building. That's the Ships of the Sea Museum. The Savannah's Maritime Museum. And they have on display many replicas of tall ships that sailed the high seas during the 1700s. The building was the original home for the Scarborough family, and they were the principal investors in the SS Savannah. That was the first steam.
This is your house? Mm-hmm. Built by General Hugh Mercer in 1860, but he never lived in this house. His great-grandson was Johnny Mercer.
The songwriter?
Mm-hmm. Savannah's own.
Now, if you ever watched the program entitled This Old House, named after John Forsyth, who served as Secretary of State in the administration of Andrew Jackson. Now this is a 30-acre park. It was laid out in 1851. Midway the park, you'll notice a Confederate monument with a statue of a Confederate soldier on top. The monument was placed there in 1870 by the citizens of Savannah and dedicated to all Confederate soldiers that lost their lives in the war between the states. The statue on top of that monument was ordered from a company that made that statue in Canada. The citizens of Savannah demanded of the company that when they shipped the statue to Savannah, that it be shipped by sea, because they didn't want the statue to touch any Yankee soil en route to Savannah. So it was sent by sea, collected and erected once it arrived at the port of Savannah. It was the custom around Savannah in the 1800s to place any military statue facing the... You notice that this statue also faces the direction of his enemy at that time. In that case, it was south. So we're approaching our stop number 5. Anyone would like to walk around Forsyth Park or visit through the Victorian district, this will be the stop from which to do so.
June 20th, July 18th.
This is past performances, or is this current? This is City Market in Savannah. Lots of shops and stuff.
You can get some peppered ostrich steak in here. Peppered. Oh, you're gonna do, I thought you were gonna do still. Let's do still.
Okay, I'll do a still in a minute. Just gonna zoom out.
Just take the still because we gotta go.
Oh, okay, sorry. I think this is some footage of original old streets from Savannah. Stairs are kind of steep there.
You should have ran down and took a picture of me coming down because I got the panic in the stomach once I started. Oh,
Now we're back on the dock by where the ship is.
Yeah.